Welcome back to Radical and Relevant. I'm Matthew Kelly. We're exploring the genius and the simplicity of the gospel by reading the gospel each day and just learning new, small ways to apply that genius and that simplicity into our lives. We listen to the gospel each day. We're listening for a word or a phrase or an idea that God is using just to speak to you. Today's gospel is from Mark chapter 7, verses 31 through 37. And Jesus returned from the region of Tyre and went through Sidon to the Sea of Galilee through the region of Decapolis. And they brought to him a man who was deaf and had an impediment in his speech. And they besought him to lay his hand upon him. And taking him aside from the multitude privately, Jesus put his fingers into his ears, and he spat and touched his tongue and looked up to heaven. He sighed and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And his ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he spoke plainly. And he charged them to tell no one. But the more he charged them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, He has done all things well. He even makes the deaf hear and the dumb speak. It's a fantastic reading, so much here. First word that jumped out at me was deaf. You know, I think we all have a deafness. We have a deafness to the gospel. Sometimes we're deaf to certain parts of the gospel. We're deaf to certain ideas in the gospel. And our human relationships are in many ways a reflection of our relationship with God. And so if we're deaf to God in certain things, we're going to be deaf to the people in our lives in certain things. And so maybe you're deaf to your wife in certain things. Maybe you're deaf to your husband in certain things. Maybe you're deaf to your children or to your parents in certain things. What is the deafness that Jesus is challenging you to look at today? And then the other phrase that jumps out at me is towards the end. It says, He has done all things well. He has done all things well. What a beautiful, words are beautiful. Phrases are beautiful. This is a beautiful phrase. He's done all things well. Let's try and do that today. Let's try and do all things well today. Not to do many things, but to do the things we do well. God bless you. Have a great day. Remember, don't just be yourself. Be the very best version of yourself, all that God created you to be.